Hello and welcome to Grimlight Games. I'm your host Grimmy, and today we're going to be reviewing the submissions that we got for We Be Jammin' number 12. We changed a little bit of things up this time around. We've decided to do away with mandatory themes and give people a little bit more time to brainstorm their ideas. On top of that, we've also shifted our focus in how we rate and review submissions. Since this channel and the community is really strongly about growth and development, I felt like the reviews needed to mirror that a little bit better, rather than just kind of focusing on arbitrary things when, scoring potential things for a competition. I want to treat these more as a way to, kind of what we've already been doing, just reviewing the games and giving people really good feedback to help them try and become better devs. On top of that, we're trying to get more people involved with the rating and the judging system, utilizing people who are not coders, not artists or developers at all, but instead have a love of video games. And we're also trying to get some of the devs in our community a little bit more involved too, because I've realized through this whole process, as I've been reviewing and rating games, it has made me a better developer. And I think that that is something that is really good for other people to also experience. So I want to continue to try and encourage that. But before I get too much more winded in this introduction, why don't we go ahead and check out what we've got going on. So we've got two submissions we're going to be checking out today, one by Sanji and one by Kisame. Should be a fun time, and I hate to say this, but I'm actually really thrilled that we've only got two submissions to get through today. I unfortunately suffered a rather traumatic injury to my index finger on my left hand, so it's going to make games that are going to involve utilizing much more than the mouse a little bit challenging, so this could also potentially be very hilarious. Although I'm looking at this right, mouse only. Fantastic, this is going to work out so well for me. Alright, so let's check out Sanjit's game. Game title is Too Many Steps. You fell asleep at night while thinking of making a game, only to find yourself in a game in your dream. A short, casual, incremental game. Controls mouse only. All assets are original and made during the jam. No AI was used in the project. P.S. I created a lo-fi track for the first time. Any feedback would be great. Ooh, I am looking forward to hearing that. All right, let's run it. Gotta give that Unity buffer time to load. Nice. All right, I dig it. I dig it. Okay, first and foremost, we're going to assess what we've got going on here in our main menu screen. Too Many Steps. We've got our title right here. Some fun games to mess... Sorry, I just thought I heard a very familiar melody for a second there, and it brought back some nostalgia vibes in my brain. Let's check out. We've got a fully functioning options menu. Look at that. Oh, love it. Always a good thing, always a good thing. Never forget that, guys. Good, continue button does not work because we have not started a new game yet. And we'll just assume the exit button works. New game. Now this is a strange dream. Ooh, I can do stuff before continuing. Okay. I remember thinking about making a game for We Be Jammin 12. I may have fallen asleep. Well now, how to wake up? It is one of those strange game dev dreams. I need to clear all the steps. Ha ha ha, I see what you did there. First few steps done. Wait, is it raining? Whoa, it's raining coins. I bet this is how I escape my sleep. Every good game, it's all about collecting the coins. Let's collect a lot of coins. It's my dream, so I know we just need to move the cursor to collect the coins. There must be an exit somewhere when I collect enough coins. Or not, I think it is a hidden upgrade. Okay, so I'm assuming that's telling us that there's going to be some upgrades we can get while we're... I love the pitch differentiation you've got on that. That's good. Some good juice right there. Alright, let's collect coins and find that exit. I like the little bit of delay in the sensor following the mouse cursor. I wonder, could probably do something fun with that, where you change the player's mouse cursor to something else besides you know, the default cursor, and then you could have I don't know, almost like this little, maybe like a dream cloud or something, like kind of chasing whatever you end up using as the cursor, like a dot or something. That could be something cool. All right, let's see what we got going on for upgrades. Coins stay longer, cost 1 red coin. We've got 2, 2, 1, and 3. Okay, so we know. Cheater times 3 coins. Spawn more coins, increase radius, increase lung capacity. Okay, so I'm assuming that's probably our time mechanic that we've got going on there. All right, well, these all cost different resources, so for now, let's just get what we can in each of them. Ah, yep, oxygen, look at that. Got it. I think I managed to snag one more right before it popped open. Alright, I guess we're going to follow the same formula. I'll be curious to see if the price on these changes, where it ticks up in the other categories as well. Ah, couldn't get it. Alright, we're just gonna keep hammering on these. Wait, I have 1 red coin. Oh no, did I click too fast? Let's see, we're gonna stress test this a little bit. I mean, it got everything down to 1. Interesting, okay. Might have hit our first little tiny bug there. So far, it doesn't seem like it's broken the game at all, though. Ta-ding, ta-ding. Ah. Yeah, that only costs 1. Interesting. Can't go below 1. Huh. I can't buy any more green. Can't buy any more coins stay longer either. Okay. So it might be that there's something disconnected between reflecting how much it costs. There we got like 13 now. Can't buy any more lung capacity. Can't increase radius. We can still spawn more coins. Maybe it was the fast clicking that I was able to break the buttons with. I think we're gonna try and break the only button we have left to see what happens. Wait, what? Did I inadvertently buy the cheater upgrade without even realizing it? I don't know what's going on, but it's giving me dopamine. Okay, now I can't get any of these. Oh, unlock final upgrade. Okay. Oh, okay, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I capped them out. Woo! Alright, we almost have enough for it. Yeah, it's gotta be a cap, would be my guess. Alright, what do we need more? We need more yellow. Let's try and focus on yellows. Alright, we should have enough to get the final upgrade now. Take the final step, click to win. Hey, look at that, we win! Phew, that was one heck of a dream. These are the final steps. I can see my alarm clock at the top. Whoa, I woke up early. Let's sleep a bit more. Let's go back to the dream. I'll surely wake up when my alarm goes off. Yeah, you definitely overslept, buddy. First step was right, but I guess there were too many steps. All right, that was cute. Nope, that's right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let this kind of run in the background while we discuss what was going on here. All right, so let's talk about our categories. So first and foremost, the most important category, we made sure that we weighed this one the highest, is the player experience. Right, so this really boils down to almost kind of a culmination of everything that's going on, right? Because if you have bugs that kind of make the game difficult to play, or if things break, that's going to detract from the player experience. If things are convoluted and hard to understand, if it's designed too obscurely, things like that, right? But it also takes into account just, did somebody have fun? Because at the core of it, if you're making a game, the idea is for it to be fun. Otherwise, you're just potentially making an app, which, there's nothing wrong with that, but this is game development. Okay, so the player experience. I definitely enjoyed what I was doing. It's got some really nice bones for an incremental game, right? You've got all the pieces there. I think there are some things that you could take into consideration to spice things up a little bit. So first and foremost, I think what I would want to say is that oxygen, I don't quite get that, right? So we're climbing stairs. I guess in a sense that could maybe represent that we're climbing up, right? So the air's getting thinner and thinner, but then that really wouldn't explain why the upgrade would be called lung capacity. So that's something that you could probably workshop a little bit. Maybe it could be something like stamina, right? You're walking upstairs, or you could lean more into the dreamscape thing, and maybe you've only got so many dream sprites or something like that. And then of course, in that case, well, maybe you could start looking at your currency, right, being a little bit more dream mechanic. I do like the coin mechanic because it's like such a basic game thing where there's always coins or some kind of currency to collect. So there's a really good nod to game development in general, just games in general there. So I think that's perfectly fine as a currency, but you could also lean more into the theme of what you got going on. And then of course, we'll talk about the upgrade buttons in a second as soon as we get through this next round. So this is also where we can start to talk about our craftsmanship a little bit. So we've got really crisp animations, right? Yeah, everything's kind of moving up. You've got a very simple menu, but it does everything that it needs to do. So this is very well organized. We can see all of our currencies and what's going on. So where we run into our first kind of snags as far as craftsmanship would be concerned, we have these buttons that we can upgrade our things with, but now it's all of a sudden it's like, well, why can't I click these anymore, right? So we need to consider some player feedback here to help the player understand why they can no longer buy these upgrades. Because at first it presents itself as a bug, which the more I played it as I got to the end, I realized I don't think it was a bug at all. I just think there wasn't really a way in which we could signal to the player that they had maxed out their capacity for these upgrades. Which then, of course, that brings us to being able to expand upon this a little bit more, having certain currencies tick up for more advanced upgrades into this. I did like how you had the cheater locked behind a higher threshold, and as soon as you get through the cheater, it gives you that final upgrade. You're like, ooh, what's that final upgrade? Now, of course, that's a very good final position for a jam game, right? You've got a limited amount of time, but if you were to develop this further, now you've got the next step into moving on, right? So the final upgrade could bring you to a whole new type of upgrade panel to continue moving through. So kind of like looking at design, I'd say everything functions very well. There was nothing that I ran into as far as a game-breaking bug. Of course, we talked about the craftsmanship leading me to believe it was a bug at first. But as far as design is concerned, you've got all the necessary pieces there. You've got that settings menu, which I harp on all the time. Very, very important, especially for people who are testing out your games or just your player in general. Lastly, creativity. I definitely like the nods that you threw in there, having coins being what you're trying to collect, being the dream of a game developer, having to get through steps to make it to their final destination. Right? There's a lot of nice hidden humor in there, and I appreciated that. So you've got a nice little thing here. Thank you very much for your submission and great work. let's move on. All right, so next up, guys, we're going to be looking at Kisami's game. We have a 2D farming simulator game with some incremental elements, made for We Be Jammin 12 Game Jam. The theme, First Step, is interpreted as the first step to restore our planet after an apocalypse. You know, there's probably something that I should have mentioned. So the themes are optional this time, and I don't think I actually announced what the theme of this jam was. The theme was First Step. So I'm thinking about that. Sanji definitely also hit the theme pretty good right on the nose by taking the first step in towards waking up. So good job there. All right, so we're going to get the planet re-going after an apocalypse. We've got WASD movement. We've got plant tree with E. Remove planted tree with X. All right, I should be able to do this. As long as it's not too stressful, we'll be good. And of course, we've got left mouse button click to get us through our UI options. All right, here's our assets. Fantastic. Let's run it. I probably should have waited for the buffer before I tried to max screen it. Nice. I like the background music you chose. Good job. Alright, we've got what appears to be some beams of light moving across our plants that are gently swaying in the breeze. Nice pixel art going on here. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit. It's kind of overpowering on my end. It'll probably sound better for you guys streaming because I've got the main volume turned down already. That was nice. Nice, cute little pixel art background. I like this. Good job. I know you'd been experimenting with some pixel art lately, so really cool that you chose to incorporate things you've been working on and learning into your Game Jam game. Oh, we got some nice juice on the buttons. A little pulse bounce. We love to see that. We already saw settings work. Let's go ahead and play the game. Oh no, it's a giant meteor. We can skip, we can continue. Year 24XX, a giant asteroid hits the Earth. Nice. Most cities are destroyed after the tsunamis and volcanic eruptions that followed. The fields become the lifelines, and trees become the only saving grace. Nice. Got some really nice pixel art backgrounds that you're working with here. As farmers, our job gets all the more important. Nice. Love it. Welcome to the Special Farm Unit, where we take the first step for Earth's recovery. Definitely don't want to skip. Our goal is to reduce the pollution by planting trees on the patches. Okay, so here's where our pollution's at. We need to reduce that. We're going to use our WASD to move. We're going to press E to plant the selected trees when in range of the patch. Okay. I'm assuming I can change it with the mouse button. Press X to remove the planted tree when near the patch. The removed tree won't give any value, so be careful not to remove them if you're low on cash. Okay. Each tree requires water, seed, and fertilizer when planted. You can buy resources at the shop. Okay. Upgrades help in making the process faster, so try to get them as soon as possible. Oh, continue button. Let's click start whenever ready. Alright. Oh, I just planted a tree. I've got a weird setup I'm using with my fingers. So, well, that's cool. Okay, so we've got the tree planted. I'm assuming we don't have to manage it anymore, because it looks like it took seed, water, and fertilizer right out as we did it. So now it looks like we get money as it ticks down for reducing pollution. So I see what you mean now. If I ended up spending all the money, but then I accidentally removed all my trees, we could kind of get stuck. So that, unless you intend for there to be a, what am I trying to say? Unless you intend there to be like a way to actually lose the game, you want to try to consider ways in which you can stopgate it, so that way the player can't actually lose, and you give them almost like a gimme. Like maybe there's a tree that doesn't produce much in the way of cash, but it also doesn't involve any cash to actually plant it. Something like that. I mean, obviously it's just a workshop idea. So one thing that I did notice, I'm see if I can get it to do it again. Do you see those little screen tears that are happening? So this is a problem with pixel art. And I say problem. It's not a problem per se. It's just that when you are working in pixel art, these are things that can happen if you don't map the atlas. I could not tell you off the top of my head exactly how to do that. But what I would recommend is checking into that, just so you'll be able to find a really short tutorial on how to do that. It's not super complicated. But yeah, so you want to set the atlas up so that way when you're moving around and there's a transition between the tiles, you're not going to get those little screen tears that you can kind of see occasionally. All right, let's keep planting more trees and run around. Do 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 do. Oh. Okay. So that's telling us how much it's essentially going to give us. So we should probably put this, right? These are the big boomers. There we go. Make one more. Let's kill that pollution. Look at that. We got money rolling in. All right. Okay, so we can only buy water, acorns, and fertilizer. Nothing wrong with that. Just kind of keep buying it in even increments, so that way we don't end up with more. Do, 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 do. There we go. All right, let's plant some more of these big ones. Wait, was I not buying fertilizer? I thought it was. Oh, because it's 400, I couldn't buy it, obviously. Let's get that back up to 65. Oh, what did I do? Jeez. Oh, the struggles of having a lame finger. Look at that. That pollution is ticking down now. Oh, we only got 15. All right, so we got to buy this back up to 50. Oops, 65. That's right, because it comes in tens. Oh, all right, I got it. Stop. Oh, that's what it is. I keep instinctively hitting the escape key to get out of this menu. Ah, that's what's going on. But that actually could be another interesting thing to talk about. So when you're trying to figure out keybinds for your games as you're making them, you want to think of like what is instinctual for a lot of things. So a lot of times when we open menus, it's good to have a button for your players that like to click through the menus, stuff like that. But it's also equally nice to make sure that the escape key binds to quit out of a lot of menus, just because, I mean, think about how many games you've played throughout your time in which you hit the escape key real quick and you're out, right? So it's like muscle memory. And it's one of those things that it doesn't become super obvious until you actually play a game that has, you know, quote unquote weird binds. And again, that is a bit of a subjective thing, right? Because obviously everybody's different, but you want to think about the things that are pretty universal across most games in the gaming space. And the escape key quitting out of menus is definitely one that's pretty big. All right, we'll see if we can get a few more here. I mean, I would love... Ah, I did it again. I mean, part of it's also because I'm playing with limited fingers here. I'm just trying to hit what feels the most comfortable. So this is really cool. I love the pixel art animation you've got here going on for the farmer running around planting the trees. I like the variety. I think you did a really, really awesome job with the pixel art on your trees here. This is cool. You got some nice shading to show differentiations in the depth of the tree. Little coconuts, I'm assuming, going on here. And then I love what I think is a weeping willow. That is actually my favorite tree, believe it or not. And we've got some nice little things going on the ground, too. Got little rocks here, little flowers here. Now, what I'm curious about, you know, obviously this isn't something that I would be able to answer just by playing, but I'm curious if... Oh, we've even got like a whole body of water down here. If you placed all of these things as assets, or if you use some kind of script to randomly generate them across the terrain, or if you just included in your tile set and then had it randomly drop them down. Because, I mean, these could be background assets, they could be also part of the tile set. So it's another interesting thing to kind of think about when you're designing your games, especially in pixel art, when you have the tile sets and things that are going on. If you did use these as just background assets that you put on top, you could put them directly into your tile set, and using randomization, stuff like that. It's just a nice way to streamline the workflow a little bit more, and it'll allow you to create even more intricate background tile sets for players to experience and use. Although if you did do it by hand, you could also throw in some clever little things. Maybe like something written in flowers or a stone that, you're only going to see if a player happens to adventure way off. Actually, let's figure out now. How far can we go? Okay. We've got a pretty big playable area to experiment with here. Nice. Oh, and we do have a pause menu. I just noticed that. Okay, resume, restart, main menu. Fantastic job. Nice, fun little pixel art, farming simulator, incremental type game. Love it. Very nice. So let's talk about our player experience. Overall, I would say this was a very enjoyable experience. The background music that you've chosen sets a really nice, fun, cozy mood. The stakes are really low in the game, right? There's no timer that you have to worry about. You've just got a lot of pollution that you're dealing with, walking around, planting some trees. So there isn't like a ton of substance to it, but as far as cozy games go, I think what a lot of the drive for their replayability, their gameplay loop, is you can almost kind of shut your brain off and do it, right? It really allows you to disconnect from everything else that's going on and just not have to fire the pistons very hard to accomplish the goal of the game. So it makes you feel good, too. So I think you've definitely done a good job setting that bar up. Obviously, there's ways that you can continue to expand a little bit more on the actual gameplay loop to give the players some more things to do, but that is kind of where you run into the danger, right? Because when it starts to become too intensely demanding on what you're asking the player to do, rather than just kind of giving them new things to unlock and explore and experiment with, you can start to transcend from cozy game into something that's a little bit more action-packed. So it just depends on which way you're trying to go. Craftsmanship. Definitely did not run into any game-breaking bugs. Everything seemed to work out pretty well. The only thing that I would say, as far as craftsmanship would go, would be to do a quick dive into atlas mapping for your tile sets, just so that way you can take care of those little tears, and that'll clean everything up 100%. Design. Yeah, I'd say the design is really well done. You've got that cozy atmosphere that you're going for. You've got an incremental game loop, and you've got a way in which your player can just kind of interact with the world. The only thing that I would critique as far as the design goes is there is a way for the player to hard lock themselves out, basically to create an artificial game over. I would highly recommend, especially if you are going for that cozy game feel, figure out something on the back end that would just eliminate the potential pitfall of running into a hard lock. So let's just kind of experiment for a second, right? So we plant the tree. Okay, awesome, great. Let's say we plant another, and then another, but what was it? Was X that gets rid of them? Actually, I wonder if I can plant them fast enough to accidentally get rid of them. Or, I know how I can hard lock myself out just to show. So now, all right, let's say we buy a whole bunch of that, and then we buy a whole bunch of that. I did it again. Oh, we need more water. Oh, but I can't get any more water. Okay, so we're stuck with that. This is actually tricky trying to prove a point. So the good news is it's actually pretty hard to hard lock yourself. So we got 100 left. We could buy water. Okay, now we can't buy anything, but we can still plant a tree. So we gotta do EX, EX, EX. There we go. Shop. Now we've only got no money. We can't buy anything. Okay, so we did it. We created that effect. So now you've got the hard lock players. Like, oh no, crap. Obviously, right, we could simply just do this. And it would be very difficult, let's say, for somebody who got closer to the end game to hard lock themselves like that. Because, I mean, who's just going to accidentally go around deleting the trees? So it's one of those things. It would just be a nice little thing to add so you can really, really root out any of those edge cases. But obviously, as I just proved here on stream, it's difficult to create that edge case at all. Like, you almost have to intentionally do it. So it's not really something that you would have to super worry about. But I'd say for design purposes, it's probably something that you'd want to figure out a workaround for, just in case you get people who are trying to do stuff like that. Or completely by accident. Last up, we've got creativity. Yeah, we've got a nice little story. I think you tied in the theme well, and I love that you're experimenting with pixel art a little bit more. And I mean, tile, especially when you start making your first pixel art tile set, like it feels pretty daunting. I remember when I started messing with tile sets myself, and it was tricky. So the fact that you got a really good working one out, and the only thing that, again, it's just the atlas mapping. That's it. Everything else is nice, crisp, clean. So yeah, keep working on that. Great job. Great job to both of you guys. This was very pleasant, and especially only having the the couple fingers I have to play the game. I also appreciate that you guys didn't make these super demanding games for gameplay. Let's see what else. I think that's it. Thanks so much, guys, for your submissions to We Be Jammin' number 12. Really fun playing through those games, and again, like I've said to you two in particular before, you've been here from the beginning. Really awesome job. It's been so cool seeing you guys evolve and try different things and mess around with new things. So keep up the good work. It's very encouraging for me too, and it's making me really, really want to try and figure out a way that I can get back to work on my own stuff. As you can imagine, it's a little bit difficult to mash out code very quickly. Which reminds me, I do need to apologize at the very end of this video before I continue. The winner's announcement and the written feedback that you would normally receive from me, I am unfortunately going to truncate a lot of that just due to what's going on. But please don't let that reflect how you think I may feel about your games. These were very well done, and I would love to dive into something a little bit deeper and more written, but it's just unfortunately not in the cards right now. So hopefully I was able to convey enough here through the stream, and I hope you guys got a lot out of the video. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. This has been We Be Jammin' number 12. I'm Grimmy, and as always, till next time.